So Nike is on a mission, and that mission is to reclaim its greatness. After what's been a pretty tough quarter, CEO Elliott Hill has laid out a completely new game plan, a strategy that he is betting will put the company right back on top. So today, we're going to break down exactly what that plan is and, ask the big question, does it have what it takes to actually win?
This one line from the CEO, it really frames everything that comes next. I mean, it's an admission, right? He's saying, yeah, things haven't been perfect. But it's also this incredibly bold declaration of a comeback. It tells you this is a company that knows it has work to do, and honestly, sounds like it's ready for the fight. So what is the game plan for this big comeback? Okay, so before you can stage a comeback, you first have to be honest about the score. And that is exactly where this story begins, with the big challenges Nike's CEO is openly and very publicly admitting to.
What's really interesting here is just how candid he's being about it all. I mean, instead of trying to spin some minor wins, the CEO is strategically setting expectations for everyone. Investors, partners, even his own teams. He's making it crystal clear that this isn't some quick fix. No, this is a long, deliberate journey back to the top.
So where exactly is all this significant work needed? Well, the CEO pinpointed 3 critical battlegrounds. First, their huge sportswear business, which is, a core part of their revenue, it's actually declining. Second, Greater China. This is a market they used to totally dominate, and now it's facing some pretty deep structural challenges. And finally, Nike Digital, their whole direct-to-consumer engine, it's still, as he put it, working to find solid ground. And let's be clear, these aren't small hurdles. These are major, major headwinds. And look, that challenge in China, it's not just talk. This translates directly to a 10% drop in revenue for the quarter. A 10% drop. That single number really shows you just how strong these headwinds are. It's a clear, quantifiable signal that whatever they were doing before, that old playbook just isn't cutting it anymore.
Okay, so that's the problem. Now for the solution. And Nike is calling its brand new playbook the sport offense. So what exactly is the sport offense? Well, you can think of it as a complete rewiring of the company's DNA. They're basically dismantling the old, broad teams that were organized by men's, women's, and kids, and in their place, they're building these nimble, hyper-focused teams for each individual sport. And they're pulling the best talent from across all their brands. We're talking Nike, Jordan, and Converse, all to attack a single goal. And I mean, this is a radical shift in their thinking. They're moving away from these really general demographic categories and creating these highly specialized sport-specific units instead. It's a strategic shift. Think of it like moving from a shotgun approach to a laser-guided one, all designed for speed and precision. But why make such a drastic change? Well, the CEO laid out 3 really clear goals for this thing. First, to get sharper, more authentic insights straight from the athletes in each sport. Second, to take those insights and use them to fuel faster innovation and just tell better stories. And third, to forge a deeper, more meaningful connection with the unique communities that live and breathe each individual sport. Okay, so a new strategy is great on paper, but is it actually working? Let's take a look and see where this new offense is already putting some points on the board. So the very first test case for this whole new formation was Nike running. It kind of became the pilot program, It moved faster than any other division to reorganize its teams around the sport itself, not the old consumer categories, and to get way closer to the athletes they serve. And the results of that test? A massive 20% growth in Nike running this quarter. 20%! I mean, this is the first real piece of hard evidence that the whole sport offense thing isn't just corporate theory. It's delivering tangible, impressive results. And it's doing it right away. And the CEO is framing it in exactly that way. He's pointing to the success in running and is essentially saying, this right here, this is the blueprint. This early decisive win is now the model for the rest of the entire company to follow. Okay, so with a successful test case in the books, let's look at the long game. How is Nike planning to apply this new playbook to future opportunities? Well, the CEO highlighted several key growth areas where they're placing their bets. They're putting more investment into Nike ACG to capture that massive outdoor market. They've also announced a pretty surprising new partnership with Skims, focused on performance training. And of course, they're already gearing up for the huge global stage of the 2026 World Cup.
But once again, the CEO is really carefully managing expectations here. He's making it very clear that a turnaround of this scale is going to have its ups and downs. The progress, he says, won't be a perfectly straight line, but he's confident the overall direction is right. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon.
So here's where we land. Nike has a new playbook, the sport offense, and that early 20% win in running proves it can definitely work. But with those huge challenges still looming over their sportswear business and in China, the big question is this. Is this new offense going to be powerful enough to carry them all the way back to greatness?